got a good question here about Accra, Ghana. I may not be able to answer the question as an expatriate, somebody who's lived in the country, but I did stay there for a month, so I have a good idea of what things were like. The guy's question is, he says he's a 42-year-old guy from North Carolina, and he says, I want to know, how dangerous is it in Accra? Is there a high probability of getting robbed or scammed? Well, I did stay there long enough, like I said, about a month, to get an idea of what that's like. So I thought I'd just share my experiences and knowledge with you just a little bit about that. Okay, one thing that surprised me was that I'm 6'1", which is like probably average in the United States. Actually, I live in Japan now, and I'm very tall here. What surprised me, though, is that I thought that when I went to Ghana, I thought that there would be these big black dudes all around me, and because American black dudes are pretty big, I mean, a lot of them are pretty big, and I thought I would be a smaller guy in Ghana. But what surprised me was, I'll give you my stat. I'm like 6'1", about 185 pounds, and I'm kind of like having an athletic build. But so I thought there would be a lot bigger dudes there in Ghana, and I would be kind of outsized. But what surprised me is that I was actually bigger than most guys. Most guys were like a few inches shorter than me and kind of skinny. So I really didn't feel intimidated about their size. Now I was bigger than most guys, probably about 95%. I saw a few guys bigger than me, but basically I was the biggest guy there. So that factor alone made me feel safe. In general, I felt that people were very respectful and non-threatening. Ghana is not a developed country, so I walked through some pretty, well, what Americans would consider run-down neighborhoods, but they may have just been normal neighborhoods in Ghana. But from an American's point of view, they seemed like run-down, like they could have been conceived as a run-down neighborhood, even though they weren't. And I felt like, I guess when I was first there, I felt that it was a dangerous area, but it didn't matter because the people were so nice, and they were curious, when they saw me walking around. The first place I stayed at was an area in Accra called Adabraka, which I heard is a pretty rough area of Accra. And people, when I would walk around, people were curious. I didn't see any other white guys around there. I mean, I may saw one, while I was staying there. And I met another black guy who was from America. But even though I was not common, so to speak, I mean, people were very respectful, very nice. I got approached by a lot of guys, daily, multiple times daily. Guys approaching me, but still just being very friendly, asking me where I was from, asking me questions about America. I told them I live in Japan, so they asked me questions about Japan. And just talking to me, and they didn't really seem like they had any kind of motive, but actually a lot of them did, and I think their motive was for me to hire them as their assistant, for them to show me around and help me out with stuff in Ghana. And maybe they can make a little money on the side. But they weren't obnoxious at all. The first 10 times or so that I was approached by these guys, I just thought they were trying to make friends, and I was being friendly to them too. And then I started to realize, well, yeah, they give me their phone number, and they say hey, give me a call if you need anything. I'll show you around. I'll take you places and stuff. If anything you want, man, I'll help you get it, kind of deal. And I really wanted to travel to Ghana and be in Accra on my own and independent. I didn't want to be on anybody's agenda. I just wanted to do my own thing. And I didn't want to pay anybody to show me around. That was not my mindset. I wanted to do my own thing and be independent. And if people wanted to help me, I wanted them to help me out of the genuine part of their heart. So, like I said, the first few, probably 10 times or so, I was approached by these guys. I just, wasn't really I was kind of clueless. I didn't know what they were really getting at. But after that, I just up front, I would just say, look, I'm not, I'm not looking for a guide or anything, but if you just want to hang with me, that's cool. I'm not going to give you any money. I just said it directly like that. Just let them know right up front. That way you're not wasting their time. They're not going to waste your time. And like I said, very, very respectful, very polite. Nobody was ever threatening to me. Well, I take that back. One thing that a lot of Ghanaian people seemed very sensitive about was when I had my camera out. They did not like me taking pictures for some reason. So I was shooting video while I was riding a taxi one time in downtown Accra, and this one guy saw me, and it's like, I shoot video all the time here in Japan, and when I go to America and other places, other countries, never have any problems. So I'm riding in downtown Accra in this taxi, and this guy, I guess, I was holding my camera out the window so that I could get a good shot. And this guy saw me filming, and he just went bonkers. He went crazy. He started chasing the taxi on foot and swearing and like going crazy. And that kind of startled me. I was surprised at that. I wish I had actually shot video of him doing that, but I just was taken off guard, and I stopped filming because I didn't want to make a big deal. I also got stopped by the police actually when I was shooting in downtown Accra as well. I don't think it's a law or anything that you can't shoot video or anything, but I mean, the police are corrupt, and I was with a Ghanaian friend, and he smoothed everything over for me. So I'm glad he was there, because I don't know what those police would have done if I had just been by myself and I had had to negotiate with them by myself. It's good to have a friend, a local, who's really on your side, really helping you out, and it has your best interest in concern. Because, man, I don't know, you could get in some sticky situations that you might not know how to deal with culturally. By the way, if any of you are going to Accra, I have a good friend. I made a good friend there. I mean, I went to Accra about 2 years ago. We're still friends. We still talk on Facebook, everything. I would love to introduce you to the friends I made, the people that I trust. And those are about 2 people, actually. I mean, I made a ton of friends. I met a lot of people over there. But I've kept in touch with about, 2 people consistently. And I consider them friends, because I never gave them any money, and they still keep in touch with me. That's another thing. You get a lot of people approaching you because, I mean, they know you're American or you're a foreigner. They think you're from a Western country. And somehow they're going to associate you with money. They're going to get money out of you. Maybe the way they conceptualize it is like, if I had money, I would give you money and help you out, because we're all brothers and that's what we do. We help each other out. But I don't have money, so I can't give you any money. But you have money, so you should give me money because you're my brother. Help me out. That's their thinking, and I'm not putting that down. That might actually be true. I mean, that's really the way they conceive of things. Maybe they really would give me money if they had money. I kind of felt that way. They were very friendly. In terms of your personal safety, like I said, I'm 6'1", have kind of an athletic build, but at that time, actually, I lost a lot of weight because I got food poisoning. So I was probably down to like 170 or 165 even. So I did not have a lot of strength, but still, pretty tall. There was one time I was walking through Accra late at night. Not one time, I did several times actually. And there was like an area of these hotels where a lot of druggies hung out at, prostitutes. And I guess the thing that made it feel unsafe was that there was no lighting on the streets. And this was like kind of a main street, but no street lights, so it was very, very dark walking through there. And what I did is I had a knife with me, like a switchblade, and I didn't bring that knife to protect myself. I brought it just for other purposes, but I brought that knife with me. And I was walking through that neighborhood, and I just had it in my pocket, just in case somebody approached me in a threatening way. I could pull out a knife. And I told my friend, my local friend there, I told him that I carried a knife with me when I walked through this part of town late at night. And he just laughed. He's like, dude, you're stupid. if you pull a knife on somebody who's going to rob you, they're going to take that knife from you and stab you with it. So, you know, I listen to the locals, man. He might be right. He probably is right. He knows it's his country, it's his territory. So maybe bringing a knife with you isn't the best thing. I walked through another area in Accra where there was just like people doing drugs. Like they didn't have places to live. They were just like they were like in these shanties, or they had like blankets laid out on the sidewalks, and they didn't have any shelter. Poor as dirt, and just addicted to drugs. I don't know exactly what drugs they were doing, but just a street lined with druggies, a lot of prostitutes around there. The first time I walked through there, I was with a local. I met this guy at the hotel I was staying at. He was one of those guys who tried to be my friend at first, and I didn't catch on that he wanted to hire me. This is when I first got to Accra. So I was hanging out with him that first night. I didn't know he was expecting money at the end of the night. He actually asked me for money at the end of the night. He's like, you know, well, I took you around today. I showed you stuff. I got stuff done for you. You know, can I have some money? Basically, that's what he said. He didn't ask me that way. He asked me in a very indirect way. He's like, brother, if you have anything in your heart, if you feel like you want to give something, let it go, man. And that's how he was asking me, and it didn't hit me at first that he wanted money. But the way I explained it to him was that, well, when we went out, I paid for all his meals, you know, and I did that just because he was helping me out. So on top of that, he wanted money, and I don't know, I felt kind of jaded, but you know, that was his motive, was to, you know, make money. He thought, and this guy, man, he had my phone number, and he was calling me like every day for the rest of my trip. I really felt kind of bad. I think I ended up giving him some money just to, because I didn't want to burn any bridges. I didn't want to make him feel bad. So I did give him money that night for having helped me that day. But after that, I didn't like want to hang out with him because I didn't want to pay him more money. I just wanted to do my own thing. But that first night I was with him, we walked through this really seedy area. Like I said, just druggies all lined up on the sidewalk. Just sitting on their little blankets, doing drugs, looking sick. I felt bad for them, actually. And it was nighttime. There was a lot of prostitutes just standing around, and there weren't streets like you see in America, but just like these dirt roads with little shacks, little shanties, and these girls, these prostitutes wearing skimpy clothes, like high heels, short skirts. You knew they were prostitutes. They're standing out there in front of these little shacks, and I guess you could approach them, or they didn't approach me. Everybody kept their distance, because like I said, I was with the local guy. He was kind of watching over me, and we just walked through this area. Now I ended up in that area another night by myself. The area I was staying in was very confusing. I got lost a couple times. I ended up there one time by myself at night, and my local friend, or that guy who wanted me to pay him, he told me that, oh, you can't go here by yourself, man. They will take advantage of you. You might get robbed. I think he was just saying that so that he could sell his service to me. But when I ended up there by myself a few nights later, nobody bothered me, man. Everybody kept their distance. I'm not saying that it's a super safe country, but really everybody was respectful, polite. I never felt threatened, really, except for the guy who chased me because I was using a camera. But yeah, I mean, I would say you don't have to worry about getting robbed. Now, I'm not saying don't worry about it at all, but just be aware of your surroundings, and know that it is possible. It's probably possible anywhere you go in the world, even America. To tell you the truth, I would feel less safe in America, in a kind of a bad neighborhood, than I would in Accra, Ghana. Accra, Ghana felt more safe to me than any bad neighborhood in America. So I really had a good impression of the people, felt really safe. They were really respectful and nice. Now about scams, well, I'll tell you from my experience. There's a huge scam going on at the airport. And actually I need to make a whole new video about this, so I'll talk about that in a different video. There's a big scam going on at the airport about the taxis and how they get you to their hotel and stuff. I'll make a different video about that. The next scam I would say is, I don't know if this really can be considered a scam, but don't exchange money in Accra. Don't go to the hotels and exchange money, because they charge an exorbitant, what do you call it? It's like a, can't think of the word. They charge an exorbitant fee for just doing that transaction. The best thing to do is just to withdraw your money from a bank. There's lots of banks, well, not lots, but I think the bank I used most was Barclays. It's an international bank, and I could just withdraw money there from my credit card. And they just charge like a, I don't know, maybe it's about a $5 transaction service. Next, I don't know if it's a scam or not, but a few times when I ate out, I added up the bill and it was more than what I actually ordered. I don't know if that's a scam, because sometimes just maybe the waiter's math was off, so just be careful about that. Another scam is foreign goods. Again, it's probably not a scam, but all foreign goods are really, really expensive there. I needed contact lens cleaner once, and like a, I don't know what it is, a 12-ounce bottle or something was like $17 US, really, really expensive. So any kind of foreign good that you think you might need in Ghana, expect it to be really expensive. Best to just bring it with you. And I got people once in a while coming up to me saying they wanted to do business with me, and I don't know what kind of business they had in mind. I had one girl and two guys approach me once at my hotel, just come up to me while I was eating breakfast one morning, and I listened to them, and the more I listened, I just knew where this was going. It's like they wanted my money, and they wanted to draw me into this whole idea, and I was on vacation, man. I didn't want to hear it. So I just politely told them, I'm like, look, I know you guys, I see you guys putting your heart into this and everything, and you know, I see you're so passionate about it, but I'm on vacation and I don't want to talk about business, and I don't want to get involved financially with people that I don't really know that well, and I think you can understand from my perspective. And if you genuinely want to be my friends like you say you do, then I think you'll just, you know, you'll stop talking about business and we can hang out or something. And so actually the one girl, man, we ended up hanging out a couple times, and we kept in touch even after I left Ghana. She was a real nice girl, very, you know, she was like a Christian girl, very nice, very friendly and pure. People might approach you like because they want to start a business or something, but you can become friends too. It's not like they're just like, you know, one-track minded, I want to trick this guy and start a business or get his money or something. A lot of people are open to friendships. You know, I just met a lot of nice people who, they might have approached me with an ulterior motive, but once I talked to them and got to know them, and once they got to know me and they understood that I wasn't going to give them any money, I mean, a lot of them would still hang around, and you know, we'd hang out, and I don't know, it was fun to talk to them, and we kept in touch even after I left Ghana. So anyways, these are some of the experiences I had in Ghana in terms of my personal safety and scams. Just some things to consider when you're in Ghana, and I wish the best for you, and I hope you have a safe trip.